Hi everyone, this is Jenny Lee with Digistitches.com and thank you for joining us today. I wanted to answer one of the most frequently asked questions these last few weeks has been, Jenny Lee, what kind of fabric are you using that's so sparkly? I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but it's a very glittery kind of fabric. It almost makes this mermaid look like she's swimming. But it's actually HTV, which is a type of vinyl, a heat transfer vinyl. It's sold in sheets like this. And the kind that I'm using, a manufacturer sent me some samples of that and said that it was made to be used with a home iron. And I was a little skeptical because I purchased some that HTV that was made to be used with a home iron. And unless you were using a lot of heat for a really long time and a lot of firm and even pressure, such as what you get with a heat press, it just really didn't adhere that well. And after it cooled off, it kind of bubbled, and after it was washed, it kind of really bubbled. So I was unhappy with that product and a little bit reluctant to try something new, but I'm actually glad that I did. Okay, so first off, let me tell you why I like this vinyl better than Hobby Lobby sells some glitter sheets in their crafting department. They're thicker and I think they're hard to trim, and underneath the applique they kind of are so stiff they look like a badge, and I just don't find that a very appealing look. I've also used the confetti dot fabric that they sell at Joann's, and this actually gives a really pretty look. Unfortunately, when you iron it, even with a press cloth, if you iron it for too long, the sparkles come off. They're just made out of plastic, and I'm sure they're just glued on, and the sparkles come off. It's also very see-through, so if you just put it down onto white fabric, you can actually see white behind the screen. So in order to give it a more opaque look like I did here, you really have to use two pieces of fabric. One piece of just regular, like on this one piece of regular applique, cotton fabric, and then a piece of the glitter confetti dot on top of it. And I just kind of find that's time consuming. And because this is so thin, it's very hard to trim. So the heat transfer vinyl is actually very thin. It's super easy to trim. Let me show you how well it works just using it with a home iron. I'm just going to grab a hoop. And the heat transfer vinyl has a piece of carrier paper that's on top of it. It's just plastic. They call it carrier paper. And you just go ahead and peel that off. Since I'm using it for applique and the back of this is kind of slippery, I go ahead and spray it with 505 adhesive spray, just so it doesn't slide around. Then I go ahead and I would be placing it on top of my applique placement stitches. And then using a press cloth. This is just a piece of stabilizer that I had, and I'm just going to use that as my press cloth. My iron is on a high heat. For me, that's 340. The manufacturer says that it only needs 315 for about 15 to 20 seconds. And a temperature of 315 Fahrenheit is actually 157 Celsius for those who are using Celsius measurements. So I'm just going to iron it. Now the manufacturer does say to apply firm pressure, but I kind of wanted to show you that I'm just kind of barely ironing it because I want to show you how well it actually adheres. So I don't have a stopwatch on, but I think it's probably been about 15 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and stop ironing. I'm going to peel that off. And now you can't see real close, but I'm like actually taking my fingernail and scratching the edges of this trying to get it to come up, and it is actually very well adhered. It's not going to go anywhere. And that was actually pretty quick, and that was with hardly any pressure at all. So let me show you how you then use it when you're using it in the hoop, for an actual applique piece. I went ahead and ran my placement stitches. This would be for her hair. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove that plastic carrier sheet and spray it with the 505 spray adhesive because it's slippery and I don't want that piece moving anywhere. I'm going to press that down like that, and then I'm going to put this back in the machine, and go ahead and run the tack down stitches to secure that piece. So that would be the tack down stitches. And what I want to tell you is this fabric is very sparkly, and if you run the tack down stitch the same color as the glitter, it's very difficult to see it and it's very hard to trim around. So if you run your tack down stitch in a contrasting color, it sure helps to trim it, you know, very closely like you do with applique fabric. So when you're done with this part and you're done putting all the applique fabric in the hoop, on this one we used glitter on her hair, on her tail, and on her balloon, and we used just cotton applique fabric on her face and body. But when you're all done doing that, go ahead and get your press cloth and then go ahead and iron for 15 to 20 seconds to adhere that glitter flake to your shirt or your garment, and get that adhered really well. And why that's important is you need it to be adhered really well, because if you're doing stitching in the middle of the glitter flake, since that's a plastic product, it wants to stretch when it's being stitched on. If it's adhered to your shirt or garment very well, when it does, you know, like the number 5 right here, it just lays flat and smooth and doesn't get puckers or bubbles in it. And you're not really probably able to see, but in this tail there's some detail stitching in her tail, and that actually laid nice and flat as well. Alright, so then when you're all done, it's been 15 seconds, remove the press cloth and go ahead and use a piece of water-soluble stabilizer. It's a plastic topper. I find that if you put that on top of your applique stitch, or on top of your garment, it helps the satin stitches stay on top of this glitter flake and not get kind of embedded in between the pieces of glitter. It makes them look like they're really just popping off the top of the glitter. And then when the satin stitches are all done, you would just tear this off. It removes, you don't even need water to remove it, it just tears right off. Alright, so you can purchase the glitter flake material, or HTV, at sewdownsouth.com. It's www.sewdownsouth.com. That's our friend Macy. She sells it, and she'd be happy to help you make a purchase of it. My name is Jenny Lee at Digistitches, and to help you remember that, I'm going to put a little sticker on this that says Digistitches. Alright, so if you have other questions for me or for Macy at Sew Down South, you can shoot Macy an email at sewdownsouth.com. You can send me an email at jennylee@digistitches.com. You can also contact me through Facebook at www.facebook.com/digistitches, or fill out a contact us form on our website at digistitches.com. Thanks so much for joining us today, and hope to see you for another product review next week. Bye.